Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're safe. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're going well. I hope your day is going well. I hope a lot of Americans' days are going well because right now what's going on, a lot of people are recovering from the Hurricane Helene incident that just happened between September 24th to September 29th, from Tuesday to Sunday. This has just happened 1 week ago, and it has been a very really just a bad tragedy. It's just beyond that. It has been the deadliest hurricane since Hurricane Helene all the way back into the early 2000s. This is already an issue because Hurricane Helene happened in 2023, and 2023 had more tornadoes than the average in America, and 82 people were killed in 2023, which is very high. Lots of climate instability has been happening this year alongside years prior to that. And Hurricane Helene has happened within those few days from Tuesday to Sunday. However, it caused major damage that will last in basically lifetimes to come in terms of difficulty of getting that power back and having a decreased amount of funding for the future aid of these disasters, especially since it keeps happening. And as I said, one of the deadliest hurricanes yet, who see how much money the government has to put into this. So I will be speaking more on that alongside in ways how you can survive the next hurricane and how you can be assisted today if you or someone you know has been affected by so. So as I said, this has happened just last week, 1 week ago. It has affected southeastern states such as Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, North and South, and Tennessee, and obviously possibly more as well. Over 200 people has confirmed to be dead. Thousands of uninsured homes were ruined. And this is a really big issue, especially with the economic collapse of the average Americans and the deficit or even obsolete of the middle class. This is already a problem with the average person not being able to afford rent, to afford bills, and some people can't even afford to have house insurance and even business insurance. So therefore, things like this can happen, and it does happen. And even for these people who do have home insurance, how much of the money, how much were they given and how much was recouped in terms of replacing what was lost? And some things cannot be recovered, such as gifts from family and, personal pieces and rarity collectible items. North Carolina residents were affected the most. Helene was the deadliest hurricane since Katrina in 2005, and that was a really bad issue. The deaths that happened in these states overall, combined but split up into separate, has been North Carolina 106, South Carolina 46, Georgia 33, Florida 20, 11 in Tennessee, and 2 in Virginia. Lots of damaged buildings, ripped up and washed out roads, blasted through bridges, bad damage never seen before. It is so bad, it is a tongue twister. Lots of people are very isolated from their homes. Lots of people's homes were affected. And as said, lots of people passed from this incident because everyone doesn't have the financial means to be able to put themselves in a safe environment. Maybe their apartment, home, or even trailer home wasn't equipped enough to survive a disaster such as this really extreme hurricane.
Welcome to the News Hour. The devastating toll from Hurricane Helene keeps growing. Authorities say at least 120 people have died across 6 states, and officials fear that number could grow even larger. Many more people are still missing and unaccounted for.
In North Carolina, communities are in crisis, with many roads closed, slowing the delivery of food, water, and other desperately needed aid. And some places in Florida are now trying to recover from their third big hit in less than 2 years. Special correspondent.
And this really does show into it shows more into the details of how bad it is economically and socially in this country looking at these disasters. And then now the issue is with these disasters happening to wreck buildings, to wreck, public property, to wreck really important environments, to wreck bridges, roads, everything like that. Now there'll be a more deficit in government money and maybe even local government money from the city. Power was shut off from over 3.3 million businesses, specifically in North Carolina, where over 170,000 people's power were shut out. A regional company, a guy who is speaking for them, is stating that these outages might be more long-term for homes and businesses that sustain more extreme damage. It will take a longer time than average for power to return. Even though some people's powers were restored, as said, it will take longer from some other people, which is a really big issue because people need to drink water, people need to shower, people need to cook, people need to live in their home. North Carolina residents get drinkable water from tanker trucks and shipments, but scarce for daily activities. This kind of reminds me of Flint, Michigan, where something happened where basically there were undrinkable water and water had to be shipped to Michigan. People were essentially struggling. Or even in the locations such as Wyoming and other Native American reservations, where residents there that are Native American are dealing with no water, very bad quality water, and non-drinkable water. Tennessee, damage to water treatment and sewage facilities prompted officials to advise residents to save non-essential water and boil drinking water. Boil it to a temperature where it's safe to drink, but you might not have any minerals or vitamins from that water. But yes, do boil your drinking water. Boil water that's safe to drink. Funds are short in supply though. FEMA relief is shortening because of it being stretched thin. Honestly, it's being stretched thin from all these disasters that has been occurring the past few years, and it has been known that there has been multiple hurricanes in the past 13 months in the southeastern United States.
On Florida's Big Bend, it's been a year like no other. The small community of Keaton Beach took an almost direct hit from Hurricane Helene. It was the third hurricane since last summer to strike this stretch of the Gulf Coast. Where we're standing, all that's left is what?
Just the pylons on the house.
Just the pylons?
Yep, that's it.
Where is the rest of the house?
Over there in the canal, across the canal.
Shannon Millinor lost his entire home to the estimated 15 feet of storm surge. He was born and raised in this area and says many in this close-knit community are reeling.
They're just devastated. We pretty much know everybody down here, and this, everybody that lived here full time just thought that, they're going to come home and now they have nothing, just like we do, everything closed and everything.
While people in Florida have started to clean up, the aftermath of Hurricane Helene continues to wreak havoc across almost the entire southeast. In western North Carolina, rescue teams are still searching for victims as floodwaters have submerged entire neighborhoods. The state's governor, Roy Cooper, called the disaster an unprecedented tragedy.
Today, we did an aerial overview to see the damage here in western North Carolina, and it is extensive and devastating. We know that it's going to require significant resources both in the short term and the long term.
Among those rescued over the weekend was nurse Janetta Barfield.
However, Congress did approve between $16 and $20 billion worth of funds for FEMA, the organization association movement thingy from the government that is to help recoup lost money from businesses and basically to aid businesses that are victims in disasters such as hurricanes and related. With this hurricane, recovery costs are estimated to exceed $34 billion US. People are concerned that the US government won't have enough money for future disasters to come, especially since who knows how the US government is getting their money. In the future, how can they get their money? What do we do, especially since the US government is giving money to Israel? So it's like, where's the money going to come from in the future, babes? Lots of people are isolated in their homes and area, still without power, which is a really, really bad situation because lots of people are scared, starving, suffering, cannot go to school and work and things like that. And the problem is with this, it's like they still have to pay rent, they still have to buy food, they aren't taken care of or even having basic needs being met. And I know this is just occurring, so it will take time for aid to come if that would happen. But yeah, a lot of people are pretty much stranded with nowhere else to go.
Few have managed to find power.
We did not have cell service for the first 3 days here, but it's just coming back, and everybody's wanting to get their devices charged so we can let our family know that we're safe.
In Georgia, playground equipment sat partially underwater. In Atlanta, 11 inches of rain fell over 48 hours, the most the city has ever seen over 2 days. And in eastern Tennessee, a bridge collapsed into a river. In all, more than 1 million people across the Southeast are without power. President Biden addressed the devastation today.
I'm here to tell every single survivor in these impacted areas that we will be there with you as long as it takes.
Helene roared ashore in the Big Bend last Thursday as a Category 4 hurricane, with winds of 140 miles per hour and record-breaking storm surge. This storm underlines a complicated mix of questions for the people who live here. First, should they rebuild? And if they do, what will that look like? And then, can they afford what were already the highest home insurance rates in the country? From 2017 to 2022, Florida homeowners saw a 45% increase in premiums, leaving many unable to afford insurance altogether. Cedar Key, a Big Bend island town of about 700 people, was also one of the hardest hit. Officials estimated a quarter of the homes were destroyed. Sue Colson is the mayor. She says the storm will fundamentally change the place she's called home for 30 years.
We have to learn we cannot fight nature, and we cannot build the Titanic that will never sink. That's insane, and we still think we can do it. We can do better at building. We can do better at the codes. But then maybe we need to rethink where we place things. Maybe we shouldn't build a food market at the bottom of the hill where it's always getting damaged.
Does a storm like this force the question as to whether a community like Cedar Key can continue in the era of these big storms?
Oh no, that's so silly. That's a silly question. We have never not been inhabited. It's a prime place to live. It's a prime place to exist. The problem is we have to learn how to work with nature, not fight it, not think we can overbuild it.
About 40 miles up the coast in Steinhatchee, residents were salvaging what they could from Maddie's, the town's only grocery store. During past big storms, the water never even reached its door. But Helene's surge nearly touched the ceiling, ruining practically everything and blanketing the store with mud.
It's truly amazing how powerful water is.
Crystal Moraz is the store's manager. This is your third hurricane in 13 months.
Yeah, and I fear there's another one. I hope not. We can't take another one. This is the worst I've ever seen this place. And we've gotten beaten by hurricanes a lot. And I've never seen it like this. I mean, I've had friends who have completely lost their house.
While plenty of storms have hit the Big Bend throughout history, experts say the recent ones have been the most intense.
There is some element of just very, very bad luck in this part of the country. But on the other hand, I do think that there's a climate change fingerprint to this.
Ryan Truschelit, a meteorologist based in Tallahassee, says warmer and rising waters in the Gulf of Mexico, driven by climate change, are providing extra fuel for these storms.
I don't believe that we're going to be cooling off the sea surface temperatures anytime soon. So whenever the Big Bend faces a hurricane risk in the future, I do think we've shifted the risk profile, towards a greater proportion of storms approaching being able to sustain major hurricane intensity.
Back in Keaton Beach, Shannon Millinor says, despite those risks, he and many of his neighbors plan on staying put.
It's our little paradise. It's where we live, we enjoy, we fish all the time. That's what we do. People's got their own stuff they do if they don't live on the coast, and we've got our stuff we do here. We'll rebuild and we'll continue on.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Christopher Booker in Florida's Big Bend.
So with this bad situation happening, I will be giving you some recommendations on how to prepare and to survive the next hurricane that will be happening in your area. So the first thing is to prepare. Know your evacuation zone and make a plan to evacuate or to take shelter. For shelter, a small interior room, closet, hallway low in the lowest level of your home are good ideas. Please stay away from windows. Avoid floodwaters. Do not walk, do not swim, do not dive through floodwaters. Essentially, it's just flooding of water. How where you see floods were occurring, people would drive through them and people would try to walk and swim through them. Do not do that. 6 inches of fast moving water can knock you down, and 1 foot can sweep away a vehicle. Avoid at all times power lines. Falling power lines, poles, and downed wires are at great risks of electrocuting and essentially killing you. Always assume a down power line is alive and working. And afterwards, you should monitor media and follow rules from public safety officials. And please call 911 for emergencies, 211 for shelter locations and other disaster info. Also, make sure to clean out drains, gutters, and downspouts. Pile protectors like plastic sheeting and sandbags. Buy a charging block, which is essentially, it's like a electric block. You can plug in your electric block and it can basically hold in battery juice to help charge your electronic devices for long periods of time, so it is a portable charger. And please do charge your electronics in advance if you can. Keep charcoal, lighter fluid, and lighters in a plastic container on a high shelf, and keep at least an extra propane tank for backup. It is very helpful for power, for cooking, heating, lighting. It could essentially, basically a propane tank is kind of like where if you looked in the 90s and early 2000s media, like movies and animated TV shows, people would have like a battery, big power type of like device where they can hook it up to a certain line in their house and you could turn the lights back on. So having a propane tank literally helps save your life where you're being able to cook, clean, shower, and have power. And please make sure to buy a large waterproof backpack to basically prepare yourself for these things to happen. Yes, I know PFAS may be on the backpack, but I'm just saying waterproof because just in case if that gets wet from the water, any other disaster, it's waterproof, so it has a harder time for your backpack and stuff to be affected. So please keep a flashlight and obviously backup batteries. Keep any needed medication in there, a first aid kit, a multi-use knife, basically that can help you open boxes. Even like try to find the one that has a can opener to open cans of soap. Basically a multi-purpose knife, or like, you know, a little thing. It's like a holder with a bunch of different knives on it. You can do that. It helps you with a lot of things. Get packaged snacks and unperishable food, because packaged snacks like granola bars, I don't even like bags of chips and stuff like that, the related, and unperishable foods like canned goods and even dry goods like rice and things like that can survive very, very well in disasters and harsh weathers like these. And please also get a big canteen of water. I would suggest getting stainless steel and a really, really like big jug over 64 ounces to fill it up with water. And please also, lastly, please put any important documents like social security, birth certificates, anything in there so it won't get messed up from the disaster. And semi-good news in situations, Starlink is giving out free 30 days of phone service for affected individuals. So please search up on your search engine of your preference to see how can you essentially qualify for that. And please call your local city government for help and look for local food banks, because you can actually get a lot of benefits from calling your local city government and even bothering them to a certain extent, because that is their job to make sure you're okay and to at least give you hotlines and assistance, you know, to help you survive this issue. And please educate yourself on shorelines. So educating yourself on shorelines essentially means it's like when, usually for people who live on the beach or who surf a lot, they have to worry about how the water looks. Does it look choppy? Is it higher than average? Is it high tide or low tide? Because all of that can determine how, you know, it may be a tsunami, a big wave, or a dangerous wave to come by. into even like a high point and low point. So low point obviously means like the water is below you, below the sand level, below the point to where it is safe. High point obviously means that the water level kind of meets you, which is dangerous because obviously it means there's a possibility to overflow and for a tsunami, hurricane, or the related to happen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to talk about this and to try to give out some help to people, and I will be showing some pictures of what I could find for some states on like websites or places you can call for assistance if you're in these certain states. And yeah, I have not been seeing anyone talk about it. Granted, I'm not super on social media. I'm only on YouTube all the time, and I'm very rarely on Instagram because that's like for business. I'm really rarely on TikTok because I try to post there for my business. But even when scrolling through, I have not seen anyone report this, and I know damn well there's a lot of niggas in Atlanta. There's a lot of people living in the South, and I haven't heard a lick of it. And I'm not saying everyone should go, you know, be Sojourner Truth and Malcolm X and all these other activists and special people to talk about these things, but it's like, I know for sure some people are affected by this situation. So I'm just wondering, like, people aren't even like bringing up a blurb about it. Only Elon Musk on his personal platform just brought up, I'm going to help people get phone service because people don't have phone service from this either, and they've been without phone service for like past week and so. So I just want to talk about this. It's really important because no one is, and I look at news a lot even on my TikTok, so of course news sites will be on my TikTok feed and even from my Instagram because I'm like an old man, so of course I get what I want to see, but like I haven't been seeing anyone else speak about it. So I just really do hope this is helpful for anybody. I really do hope this is helpful for any future issues, any future endeavors the environment wants to give us. But yeah, please stay safe. I hope you have a great day. If you have been affected by this, I do hope everything gets better. Things do get better. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye y'all. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Boom, boom. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. So is anyone gonna make a chili dog for